my fellow hardcore gamers, it's your old pal Rory here with another review of a video game I played and then reviewed after playing it. This time around we're talking about a video game called Cupmouth, which you may not have heard about because it's an indie game. Ordinarily, I don't like indie games because they're literally all walking simulators which are boring and have politics in them probably. I don't know, I don't play them because they suck. Anyway, this one got my attention because people said it was balls hard actually, and since that's the most objective way to measure a game's quality, I was ready to Cupmouth. The premises of Cupmouth is pretty simple. You play as a boy who got turned into a cup by the devil, which is like the opposite of what you're supposed to do with boys. I found this narrative very personally affecting because my mum is a bit like the devil. She didn't turn me into a cup, but she did make me take the blame for all that porn under her bed when I was 18. I don't even like bum stuff. One of the interesting things about Cupface is the art style, which has been inspired by classic anime such as Akira, Bionicle, and my personal favourite, Uraraka Legend of the Overfiend, which I have only ever watched for the story. It's great to see a love letter to classic animation, and it's like I'm really playing inside of a cartoon, a feat of authenticity matched only by South Park for the Nintendo 64, which was a great game because you could throw pissy snowballs in it, and that's the sort of razor edge humour I'm into. Like, I'm not even afraid to say the fuck word, that's how hardcore I am. I've even got tattoos, Turtles ones. Press on with water. Speaking of hardcore, I must actually confess, by the way, to being a little bit disappointed in Cupmouth, which it turns out isn't actually hardcore, but cheap difficulty. The game cheats mostly by ambushing you with boss fights out of nowhere, like sometimes even at the beginning of a level. How are you supposed to be ready for that? Not only that, but the bosses cheat themselves by having lots of attacks and being hard to fight, which is unfair and stupid. Probably the worst part is where the game itself lies to you to trick you into dying. One level literally tells you to run and gun, but I kept getting stuck and dying like 100 times. The only way I found to make progress in the level is to cheat myself by jumping, essentially exploiting a glitch that lets you jump in a level that said fucking nothing about jumping. Like, tell me what to do! What am I supposed to do? The game is bugged! Despite its charming hentai aesthetic, Cuplips is a savage disappointment of a cheap and bad game that isn't actually hard anyway because you can just get your brother Royston to do it for you, so I've beaten the game already, basically. I don't know, maybe if the game looked more like this I'd be into it, but it doesn't, so I'm not. Sorry, Cup Boy, but it just looks like you're not my cup of... Mom, what do you put in cups? No, you drink out of bowls! What do you make me drink out of bowls?
Goodbye!